Welcome to Bowl or Brown Out Loud, a podcast where stories come to life in the most fun and lighthearted way possible. I'm your host Sania and I'm joined by my co-host and sister Anam. Anam, आ गई तुम?
This is getting stale. Anyway, this is what we've planned for you. On the first and third Tuesday of every month, we'll bring you stories rooted in our brown experiences. Whether it's a wild adventure, a quirky character, or a kahani may twist, we will share stories that are sure to make you laugh or smile. वो भी चलेगा.
Today's episode is about the lifeline of survival, Jugaad. For our non Hindi speaking audience, Jugaad roughly translates to life hacks. I think so, it's life hacks. I'm not sure if life hacks truly captures the essence of the word though.
This is such a sacred topic, Sanya, and I think your bad definition will definitely come back and troll us. I mean, what I'm trying to say is Jugaad means different things for different people. It's very inclusive and it's a very personalized thing, right?
Yeah, your jugaad I might not consider as my jugaad, or I might be like, oh, that's not a jugaad.
And Sanya, during our R&D, we crowdsourced a lot of stories and we realized there are multiple definitions. For each person, it's different, right?
Yep, and that's why we thought let's not discuss definitions. Let's just share some stories that will help you decide your own definition. Okay, Anam, what are some helpful jugaads that you have seen?
I mean, the fact that there's a rule in India where three people cannot sit on a motorcycle or a scooter.
Yeah,
So,
triply. Triply is
y-
not allowed.
yeah, but the rule stops there. So, people have five people sitting on a scooter because it doesn't say anything more that three people are not allowed, five people are allowed. So, I love that, Jagar.
The rule is specific to triply. The lawmakers' imagination stopped there, but the people's imagination did not stop there. So, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I've also seen, uh, people tying a muffler across their face and then putting their phone inside the muffler. So, using, if you don't have access to hands free, you just like shove your phone inside the muffler and it stays snug. And that's a really good jugaad.
I have one more. I don't know why I'm talking about all the jugars I see on the road. Maybe it's because I spend umpteen amount of time waiting for the traffic to clear. But this is when the cycle walas just hold on to a tempo, or I mean, an auto rickshaw or a motorcycle, and decide that they won't pedal, and so they just hold on and then use the speed and the acceleration of another person and just reach where they're supposed to reach. Like I love that.
Yeah, that's a good one. I also love, how lots of women will tuck money under a bra strap because women's clothes don't have pockets. I don't know, for some reason, like the people who design women's clothes don't want to give them pockets, so they like tuck that money. And also, I've seen like mobile phones tucked in bra straps.
Ew.
And once my friend told me that the more hilarious part is not the phone that is stuck, but when the phone rings and like sort of, uh, lights up, so you can see it light up through the clothes, and that's the fun part.
This has happened to me a couple of times in hostel when we were supposed to
What?
sub.
You tuck money
No,
under your bra strap?
let me complete. So one of my friend, we had to submit our mobile phones every night. Yes, we had a strict dorm hostel rules and regulation book which we had to follow. Anyway, so one of my friend did hide her mobile phone under her bra, and while she was walking down the corridor, and so was the dean of the hostel coming the other way, her phone started ringing. So obviously lights were coming out from her
Her
chest.
bra was having a disco party. All right. I have another fun jugaad. You know, when you're in class 11th, 12th, those class or 10th, where there is an external exam that decides your fate, like which we call boards. I don't know why they're called boards, but
Tanya,
it's
is this your way of just trying to tell the percentage you got in your boards? Like seriously, Sania, please. Oh my God.
no,
I
it's a
hope this
fun
is a
story.
story. Of course, I
Yes.
believe you. Go ahead.
Yeah, because Yeah, nobody wants to know the percentage I got in my boards. And neither do they want to know the percentage you got in your boards. Okay, moving on. So if you're in those years, the schools are like on steroids, and they are like parent teacher meeting every month, sending a letter every month, like you have to improve. They don't want, like, basically they want to make sure that everyone is studying. So they have all these extra meetings with parents. And Seher told me this once, that she had a friend. He had a warning note or something, and the math teacher told him that your parents have to come and meet me because I need to talk to them. And he was like, that's not going to happen. So what he did is, listen to this. He hired a paid actor to pretend to be his dad, who showed up, and everyone was super impressed that, wow, is he going to pull this off? But it backfired. And it backfired for the reasons you can never imagine. So the paid actor came with a super fitted shirt, like a super fitted button down shirt, and all the buttons were open, like they were open up till his navel.
So you're saying that dads cannot have shirts open up till their navels, like Sanya?
Yes, a dad who is coming to a parent teacher meeting is not going to come to the parent teacher meeting like that. So the teacher instantly recognized that, and the teacher was like, this is your dad. And he was like, yep, this is my
Like
dad.
the teacher's like, I've seen you in some places. Like,
In a commercial.
but
So
Sanya,
yeah.
for our new listeners, you have to introduce who Seher is. Seher is our elder sister. The story that Seher has told you, because a lot of times it has happened that Seher usually goes through something and then tells us that it was a friend that went through that. So I have a feeling it was Seher who hired the paid actor.
Yeah, Seher is always asking for a friend. Like she's asking advice for a friend.
Sanya, my favorite jugaad was when we were kids in Saudi Arabia. We used to go to this amusement park, and we used to go with one of like my dad, my mom, all three of us. We used to go with
Anam,
our
it was not an amusement park. It was a shopping complex, and it had a really cool slide.
Okay. That is a definition of an amusement park for a 7 8 year old. Anyway, so he had two kids, so there was five of us, and to really enjoy those slides, you had to be on that slide for at least 4 to 5 hours to actually experience the thrill. But the ticket was expensive, so my dad used to buy only hourly tickets and give it to all of us, thinking he'll be the kid's favorite. My dad used to be like, "Go have fun, but make sure it's done in 60 minutes." But my uncle, 20 minutes into the ride, he used to come with a whole bag of Happy Meal with extra Coke, extra cheese in the burger, Happy Meal toy, and then share it with this person who was in charge of the ride, and like chit chat with him and keep giving him more fries and just keep him busy. And that way, the buzzer was never hit. And so we were always allowed to, be on the ride and not leave for like 4 5 hours. And I felt that was the best jugaad. Like,
Anam,
mm.
Anam, you're so gullible. He did not forget to press the buzzer because he was busy eating, Anam. It was a bribe. Like he understood what the bribe was. Like he was like, okay, it was an unsaid rule. I'm gonna eat this Happy Meal, and I'm gonna let the kids be happy by not asking them to leave, Anam.
Sanya, it was not a bribe. It was a jugaad. There's a very, very thin line.
Okay then. And I remember talking about your being gullible, that you had you had this system in place where you would say, guys, why are you like always asking Amma for money to buy cold drink and chips? Like, why can't you do it on your own? And we were like, what? You do it on your own? How do you do it? And she's like, just go to the shop, the nearby shop, the nearby dukan. She was like, just go to the shop and get the cold drink and leave. Like they are not gonna ask you for money. You can just leave. And you were like, that works? And she was like, yup. It worked until in a week the dukan wala he sent a bill home because he knew where Anam lived.
Sanya, there's a big piece of information missing, a critical piece of information. I used to just not leave. I used to say the magic word, which I thought meant something else. I used to take my cold drink and I used to say credit. And you would be like, credit? I'd be like, credit, and just leave. For me, that meant like brotherhood, that I got this, it's on the house. But later I got to know credit means you have to pay for it much later.
Oh my God, Anam, you thought credit meant on the house?
And I was like, he's the best shopkeeper in the world. Anyway,
Yeah. That- Some revelation there.
Sanya, remember the exam times when Amma, like, she used to dramatically come 1 month before the exams and, like, bring her big scissors and cut the cable wire and say, no TV. And she used to get a big bed sheet, turn the TV around, and cover the TV with the bed sheet just to prove her point.
Yep.
We used to watch Friends. I used to hold the two pieces of the wire, the cable wire, and somehow the signal used to come, and you used to
We
watch
didn't hold
Friends.
the two pieces together, Anna. We shaved the wire and put it back in the socket like a wire without the plug. Like we figured it out. We jammed it into the
No,
TV socket. Yes, Anam. That's how we did it. And that's why we had to hold the wire. Like one person had to be constantly be the engineer on duty and
me.
hold the wire while the other person got to watch the TV. And that's how we watched Friends rerun. Not by choice, but by necessity, that once you could only hear the jokes and the next time you could watch the jokes. So we were like, ah, now I understand why Phoebe was laughing.
Yeah, I remember Seher used to. Well, Seher was not allowed to play basketball downstairs during exams, so she used to make me hold the mondha, which is a kind of a stool, on my head, and she used to throw a full size basketball into the mondha, and it always had a migraine after that.
And Anam, you did it for a cold drink. You did it for a cold drink, seriously, for 1 hour of being hit on your head.
It damaged my brain, and Seher didn't make it to the NBA, so it was a lose lose
Lose, lose.
situation. Anyway, we've spoken a lot about this, and I think we should talk about the ultimate jugaad, which is in your story, Sanya. So let's transition to Kissa time.
So, this is a story that Amma told me about the ultimate Jugadu, a colleague of hers from when she was teaching in Saudi. Now, I'm going to call this teacher Kani's teacher. I'm giving her this name that means to be subservient. But let me be very clear, Kaniz was subservient to no one. In fact, the world was subservient to her dreams, hence the name. She had two golden principles that she lived by: eat like a queen and travel like a jet setter. But cooking bole to maa ki kirkiri. She hated cooking. And her husband, Unich Pasli ka joda, he didn't cook either. But Kaniz was not about to let this stop her from enjoying good food. Mm-mm. This wasn't going to be a Halim mein haddi for her love for food. And travel, her other golden principle, she was always seeing traveling ke khwaba. But we all know that teacher salaries are began ki kasam, basically just good vibes. So, how was she going to live by these principles, you ask? Listen up. Kaniz launched the most epic staff room lunch initiative. And here's how it worked. She looked around the staff room, 15, maybe 20 teachers, and she thought, that's enough people to organize a meal rotation. So she convinced the entire staff room to take turns bringing her lunch every day. How convenient. And when you are making food for someone else, you don't just throw in last night's sad leftovers, right? You make nice food, like you bring nice food for them. In fact, I am speaking from experience because at home, every time we had something nice for dinner, we knew we would barely get to eat it. Because Amma would say, don't finish everything. I have to take this for Kaniz. And Kani's teacher? How? Every day unich daba ke khao. This woman had more variety in her food than a buffet. But wait, you might be wondering, okay, she has lunch sorted. What about dinner? Is Kanis going to eat the sad leftovers from lunch? Mm-mm. That's not who Kanis is. She figured out a dinner strategy also. She started tutoring kids in the evening and she told the parents, listen, I'll give you a discount on my tutoring rate, but you gotta bring me dinner. And the parents were like, what? Haule bata nakko karo. Is this deal for real? Because if you do the math, it is a good deal. The kids got tutored for cheap, and Kanis got delicious meals every night. It was a win win. She was living rent free in everyone's meal planning. But Kanis wasn't just about good food, remember? Her second golden principle is travel. Now, how was she going to afford all these trips on her teacher's salary? She is going to do it with a jugaad. She made the other teachers pay for her vacations. Yes, I present to you the ultimate crowd-funded vacation scheme. So she went up to the staff room and said, Light Lelo teachers, I will personally go on a trip for all of you. You just buy me my ticket, cover my expenses, and I'll bring back everything you need. Perfumes, crockeries, dinner sets, gadgets. Cheapest deal you'll ever get. Began ki kasam. And these teachers, they lapped up her bade bade bata. They fell for it hard. They funded her flights, they funded her stay, and in return, she brought them everything that their heart desired. And the best part is since she was buying so much, she got all sorts of loyalty discounts and bonuses. So, guess who was coming back with extra stuff for herself? How? That's right. Kani's teacher. Yas, queen.
हो गई कहानी सानिया तुम्हारी?
Yep.
Okay, where is the music? Because I want to present an award to you.
Wow, that's a first.
The award for the worst Hyderabadi accent goes to Sania Zedi. Just because you say Began 3 times doesn't make you Hyderabadi enough. Like, seriously, you've offended the Hyderabadis in my family. Anyway, Sania, if I was supposed to give an award, I would say that Kani's teacher ki kahani sun ke maut aa gayi yaar. Maut aa gayi. Like, she's epic. But at the same time, few people know this that I had the misfortune of being in Kani's teacher's class. And she had a special liking towards all the teachers' kids because we used to open our tiffin and she'd be like, Anam, aaj kebab roti lai ho. And I'd be like, how does she know what's in my tiffin? Now I know because my mom used to give her the majority of the kebabs and give us leftovers. As a student, I always thought, why did Kani's teacher, who, let's just say she was well fed, like I'm being nice to her when I say that, used to take so many sick leaves. And now I got to know that she was actually off to Dubai Expo, thanks to my mom, to shop for stuff like cooker and Corel dinner sets.
Oh my god, she was taking sick leaves and going to these places.
And she never ever looked sick. Like she was hale and hearty.
Wow, she is really a character, I must say.
Sanya, I'm going to bring out your hot scale. Okay, the first is trauma
Okay.
trauma. Second is typical. Third is bolti band. Fourth is brown culture heirloom. And five is good old LOL. Asli mein to his Kani's teacher has done an LOL in our lives and my mom's life on the school system. Like she tricked us, tricked the entire system, an entire generation of students and teachers, and lived life well, like well.
Queen size.
Never had to cook, never had to think about how she's gonna buy jewelry or how she's gonna get the money. She just had these guinea pigs following her, and unfortunately, that one of them was my mom. But yeah, good old LOL would be for Kani's teacher.
Yay! Anna, I can't believe I won two awards in this hot take.
Cherish it because this is the first and the last time you will win something on this podcast.
It's time to play our favorite game, Bowl Baby Poll, where we ask a question related to our episode theme and folks vote on it. This week, 74 people voted, and the results are in.
Woohoo!
Yep, we asked, which jugaad have you been most guilty of? And the options were option one, sharing memberships and subscriptions with friends and family. Option two was keeping tags on expensive clothes and returning them after the event. Option three was using your sources in a government office to expedite your paperwork. And option four was slipping a torn note in a bundle of cash to a shopkeeper. So, Anam, this is the last time you're going to play this game for a while. I don't know if you're going to redeem yourself or not. Which option do you think got the most votes?
I think, Sanya, you have to also mention the fact that we also got a lot of comments saying that everyone was guilty of using all four options. Like,
Yep.
like that's how prevalent Jugaad is in everyone's life. But okay, sharing memberships, keeping tags of clothes, using source in the government office, and putting a torn note. I think it's sharing memberships and subscriptions with friends and family.
Are you sure, Anam?
Yes, I have nothing to lose.
You have nothing to lose because you've only lost on this show.
Very
So,
funny.
so computer G, option one, sharing memberships and subscriptions with friends and family, lock kiya jaye. Anna, what do you think? You think you're going to win?
Yeah, I think I'm going to win.
Wow, love that confidence. All right, Anna. Let me see. Let me see the results. Let me look at the percentages.
Oh my God, just accept it that I won. Don't
Hmm.
change the answer, Sanya, like you always do. Yeah,
No,
I
I
can see
don't.
it. Why is there a wait? What are you doing? Like,
I
seriously.
am I'm taking it all in, and I want to say that Talia
Yeah!
celebration. Anam,
Woohoo!
you have guessed the right option. Sharing memberships and subscriptions with friends and family got 56% of the votes.
Finally, finally, finally. What was the second most popular?
Second most was slipping a torn note in a bundle of cash to a shopkeeper, something you couldn't have done because you never paid.
Very funny.
All right, folks. Anam is leaving, playing this game, guessing this game on a
Woo!
high.
Twice I won.
She won two times out of six episodes, lost four times, but let's not dwell on that. And from next time on, I am going to be guessing. Yay!
Do I get like a trophy or something?
When you win
Bazigar.
all the games, yes, not for the two times you have won, which is a failing grade.
Mm.
But let's just say that I'm happy that you won, and I will not hear your whining about these are not good options. You are doing this anyway.
Sanya, stop making rules anyway. We'll see who's going to do the next poll.
You.
That's a wrap on another episode of Bowl. If we made you laugh or smile, do us a favor, like, share, subscribe, and spread the word. Tune in to Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and JioSavan. You can find the links for all of these things on our Instagram bio. Also, don't forget to share your favorite moments or thoughts with us on Instagram at brown.out.loud or on TikTok at brownoutloud. Until next time, it's us, Anam and Sanya, keeping the stories alive. Adab. सानिया लगता है डर गई मेरी जीत से सानिया
Never. Adab. Bye.